And line segment AB. Okay, put M on there. But where's M have to be? Ballpark. Where's it got to be? In the middle if it's the midpoint. So eyeball it about right in the middle. All right, here's the thing now. You guys can put markings on your diagram that if anybody walked into this room, they would know M is directly in the middle. What markings could I put on my diagram that we talked about that says M is directly in the middle?
Like the dash mark.
The hash marks, where?
On the other side.
Okay, name them. Name the segments I can put hash marks on.
AM,
Yep.
MB.
There you go. AM and MB. That tells me right now, if I see this diagram, oh, AM and MB are, what's the word, by the way? Congruent. They're the same length, so M's got to be in the middle. Let's write it now, too, where it says conclude. Line segment AM. We remember the symbol for congruent? Equals tilde. It is your bed. With M congruent to MB. Yep. All right, everyone okay? No issues? All right, AM congruent to MB. M is the midpoint, which means it's in the middle of the line segment. Oh, you want an algebra example? You got it. I got that for you. Go ahead. Draw AB where M is the midpoint again. M's the midpoint. I got my hash marks on AM and MB. All right, now let me give you values and see if you can help me, find X. AM, 2X plus 1. MB, 3X minus 4. Can you help me find X now? Remember homework a couple nights ago? You take both of these, add them together, and set them equal to how long the segment is. Well, hey, guys, what's my problem here? I have no idea how long the segment is. That's not going to work this time, is it? But I could still set something up. Remember, that's why it's huge to know that this is the midpoint. M's the midpoint. What can I set up now? What do I know is true that I can set up? Relax. Where is it over there? 11. Go right ahead. If we had an 11. We don't have an 11, do we? No, that's behind Josh. Of course, the one I picked there. Via, go ahead. What can I set up?
So I think you can set up 2x plus 1 equals 3x minus 4.
Now I can set this up. Yep, 2x plus 1 is the same length as 3x minus 4 because that's the midpoint. Good. All right, use your algebra skills. This is a 3-part question. I'll let you go. Find X, find AM, BM, and AB now. So you should have 4 answers at the end. X, and then the length of every line segment. X is 5. Both AM and MB should have been 11. I hope they're all the same, right? Because they're congruent. Add them together, the whole line segment AB should have been 22 units. 22 units. Can I answer any questions? Are you okay why we're setting them equal versus just adding them together? Like we did on homework a couple nights ago. There's nothing to set it equal to. If you add those together, what are you going to set it equal to? We don't know the length of AB. Okay, all good? How you feel on midpoint? Okay, now let's go to the graph like we did yesterday for distance. Can we find the midpoint of a line segment if I graph it? So go ahead and graph AB for me. Go ahead and graph AB. Can you find the middle of it? Okay, here we go. Find the middle. Find the midpoint. And I like to I abbreviate midpoint, MIDPT. That's fine if you want to do that too. And remember, if I ask for the midpoint, I'm not asking for a number like I was for distance. I'm asking for a point. What, comma, what? That's what I'm looking for midpoint. What is that point in the middle? Don't give me a number. That's the distance. What's that point in the middle? 15, Molly? 4, 4. Great job. Yep, 4, 4 is in the middle. Good work. All right, do it again for me for CD. You guys got this. Don't get lazy on me. You're fine. -17. Emma, what are you getting for this one? -3, -3?
No, 3, -1.
3, -1. I like that. Good. Yep. All right, good. So that's what I'm looking for. Just like distance, when would we run into a problem right now? When did we run into a problem yesterday, Luke?
If it was like a
Diagonal line, right? And to solve that problem yesterday, I gave you the distance formula. Well, to solve that problem today, I'm going to give you the midpoint formula. Another formula which I won't provide to you on a quiz or test. What did you guys think of distance formula yesterday? Think it's hard to remember, or it's got a couple different parts. If you were okay with distance, this is going to be no issue, the midpoint. Here it is. It's a coordinate, right? XY coordinate. How do you find the x's? How do you find your x coordinate? You add them together. x1 and x2. You add your x coordinates together, and then you guys are going to figure out what to do next. It's midpoint, which means it's in the middle, you told me at the beginning of class. So what do you think I should do to this when I add up my x's? I'm finding the full distance between the x's, but I want the halfway point, right, Scott? Cut it in half. You got it. Yep, divided by 2. Perfect. So how do you think I'm going to find the y's? Same, but y1 plus y2 divided by 2. All right, that's it. Not too bad. Not like distance. All right, let's apply it now. Hopefully you guys aren't scared off by these crazy fractions, huh? Find the midpoint of AB if A's got this and B's got that. I don't feel bad because I don't know if you guys realize or not. Did you know your graphing calculators, you can put these type of fractions in? Called mixed fractions. Here you go, real quick. Same place you go to get the fraction template, alpha y equals, but instead of choosing number 1, now you can choose number 2. Okay? Instead of choosing number 1, now you can choose number 2 and plug it in. Or, even if you don't have a graphing calculator, not a big deal, you can change 2.5 to a decimal. Instead of 2.5, what could I write? 2.5 instead if you want to change it to a decimal. But if you have your graphing calculators, you can plug in 2.5 as it's written. plus the other x coordinate, 3 1/4, or 3.25 if you want to turn into a decimal, divided by 2. And then do the same thing with your y's. 1/4, 0.25, plus a -1 all over 2. And this will get us to the midpoint of AB. Decimal fraction, don't care. As long as the decimal, just doesn't keep going on and on and on. Pretty sloppy. All right, I'll take the fraction or the decimal version. Okay. Everyone all right? Where are we? We good? Talk to me here. We all right using your calculators to get this, either the decimal or the fraction? I'll accept either. Okay, look, I'll be honest. I've been telling you guys this is an upper level class. I got some of the best that the 10th grade has to offer. Great job. You can find the midpoint. Great. Am I really concerned or going to be quizzing you big time on that? No. Next problem is where you guys got the level you need to be at. And that is the following. I will give you an endpoint, and I'll give you the midpoint. I want to know the other endpoint. So here you go. Just for visual purposes only. Here's what this, I got line segment DG. Here's what this problem is saying right now. D, -1,5. Midpoint in the middle. I'm sorry, that's not negative. The midpoint's -1,5. Sorry, D is 1,4 if I could read. The midpoint is -1,5. And now, do you see what it's asking? Now that you know the midpoint, what's the other endpoint? Ooh, oh boy. Changed it up on you. Now you know the midpoint. What did I start out with as that other endpoint? Ooh, a little bit tougher, kids, huh? All right, let me show you how I'm going to approach this with you. Where's M again? Directly in the middle of this line segment, isn't it? Directly. All right, so here's my first question for you. I'm at 1,4. I'm going to go over to -1,5, which is directly in the middle, and then where would I end up? All right, everyone, get yourself visually, hypothetically on the x-axis right now. You're on the x-axis. You're at 1 on the x-axis, and you travel over to -1. So here you go. Ready? I'm at 1. I travel over to the -1. How many units did I just travel?
2.
How many?
2.
2. In what direction? Left. So I'm going to put -2. I went 2 to the left. Where is the midpoint again? Directly in the middle. So how many steps did I just take to the left? 2. So guess how many steps I got to take to the left again to get to point G? 2 more. Where am I on the x-axis? Negative. I'm at -1. You told me to take 2 steps to the left again. -3. There you go. Guess what you just found? The x-coordinate. You're in the middle. Do it again. Now go to the y-axis. I know this one's going to be even tougher, huh? I'm at 4. I go to 5. How many steps did I take or units? Positive or negative? So if that's in the middle, how many more steps do I need to take to get to the end? One more. Where do you end up on the x-axis? There you go. You just found point G. I like to call this the skip method. Or the walk method. I don't know, whatever you prefer. There it is, negative 3, 6. If you are unsure that you did the right work, maybe you're a little uncomfortable at first, I can take 1, 4, negative 3, 6, and plug it into what formula? Midpoint, right? And see if I come out with negative 1, 5. There's a quick check to see if you got that right endpoint or not. Plug it back into the midpoint formula. Do I get negative 1, 5? Questions from you guys? Concerns? All right, so there's midpoint, all in a nutshell. Got your compasses? If you do, take them out. If you have a straight edge, take them out. If you have a straight edge, we're going to go back to page 12, beginning of your notes today, page 12. Here we go. Might get a little awkward, that's fine. Thank you for having them ready to go. All right, quickly, just the difference in wording for directions, okay? Sometimes you'll see the directions say construct. If you see the directions say construct, that means it's time to use your compass, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, use your compass to do this problem. If it says draw or sketch, just take your pencil, pen, freehand it. That's what that means, okay? The difference in directions. If you see the term construct, that means I'm going to use my compass to do a construction. All right, all good. All right, the first one I'm going to show you how to do is the most basic of constructions. And that is, how do I copy a line segment to make it congruent? Everyone see I have line segment AD? I want you to make another line segment CD that's congruent to it, but you're only allowed to use your compass. You're not going to take if you have a ruler, you're not going to take it this year, measure it, and then remeasure it and draw it on the other side. That's not what this is asking for. Use your compass to do it. Use your compass. Ready to go? Again, this is the most basic of them all. Do you see how I started you out with a point here? Okay, your first job is you're going to take your straight edge and you are going to make a line segment that is longer than the one we are copying. So everyone take your straight edge, whatever it happens to be, whatever straight edge you have. Go over to the one endpoint and make a line segment that is clearly longer than the one you are copying. Off to the side. All right, now on this segment that you just made, we're going to make AB congruent to this new segment. Everyone have a segment that's bigger than the one we're going to copy. All right, next, take your compass now. Take your compass. Open it up to the length of AB. All right, so one side of your compass on A, pencil side on B, or vice versa. I'll do it with you. I have my compass up on the board here. All right, so I'm going to take A, line it up, B, line it up. That's it. That's all I'm going to do is with my compass measure how long it is. I'm going to go slow. I just want to make sure everyone's with us. All right, ready? Don't open or close it. Keep it that same opening. Now you're going to travel over to the line segment you just made. Put your one sharp point on the end point I gave you. And here's where it might get awkward because you're going to make your first arc mark here. Take a look. You're going to make a marking. Put it in a different color for you. You're going to make an arc that intersects that segment. Okay, you're going to make an arc come through that segment. Just a tip, you guys are going to figure out how well you can hold the compass and what best suits you. I always hold it from the top and go, but whatever floats your boat. All right, I always go from the top. Right here, put my point down and start swinging. It's tough at the beginning. Trust me, it's tough, I know. Okay, it's tough at the beginning. Please, please do not squeeze the heck out of it, because then it's going to look like you were doing this during an earthquake. All right, it's going to be, some may look like that right now. All right, so just put the point down, nice loose wrist, hand, and swing it from the top. That's my bad, but whatever goes for you guys. All right, we're done. Congratulations, you made your congruent segment, but I do have to follow the directions. What do I need to name this new congruent segment? Construct a segment congruent to AB and label it
CD.
CD. All right, let's label it CD now. C, and then guess where D is going to go? What's that? Yep, where the arc intersected your segment. These two are congruent to each other now. AB and CD are now congruent. I'm not done with you, though. I'm going to keep challenging you. Yes, by the construction, they're congruent, but now what can you put on the diagram that now says, hey, they are congruent? Hash marks. Go ahead. Yep. You can put one each, two each, doesn't matter. But now we can say they're congruent. First time using the compass. How'd it go? I'm not done with you. I know there's one more construction at the bottom, how to do a midpoint, but ready? Challenge question. And this will happen tonight. What if I were to ask you to construct, using your compass, a line segment that is twice the length of AB? Twice the length of AB. How could you use what we just finished to keep going? A line segment that's twice the length of AB. Via, got a suggestion?
So, you just draw, you kind of just do it do what you did before, but you do it 2 times.
Ready? Here's one. And then where do you think I'm going to put my compass point now? Move it over, swing another arc, and then that segment would be twice the length. Okay? I'm going to challenge you tonight to see if you guys can do a couple different things with copying a line segment. But any questions here? Yep.
Could you just make a circle? Wouldn't that be twice the length?
You could. Well, I wouldn't. You could do. I know what you're saying. A circle is, instead of going on this side, you could now do it on. Oops. You can now do it over here and extend it, and then that line segment would be twice. Yes, that's fine. I wouldn't say a full. You don't need a full circle, but you just need it to intersect your segment. Yep. Okay. All good. All right. One last thing, and you guys can see that on the bottom of your page is how do I construct the midpoint now? How do I find the midpoint? Constructing it, not using a ruler. All right, ready? Take your compass. Now we do not need a separate segment like we did for the last one because we're trying to find the midpoint of AB. So we're going to do this right on AB. Take your compass. Put one point of your compass on either A or B, the endpoint. Put it on the endpoint, A or B. Here's the key to this whole construction. Make sure your compass is open more than half the length of the line segment. Make sure it's open more than half the length of the line segment. But make sure it doesn't go past the line segment. Just make sure it's open up more than half, but not past. All right, here you go. Take your time here. I'm going to need a decent size arc. And when I say decent size, I'm basically talking like a half circle here. Draw that through. Keep the same opening. Go over to the other endpoint now. Keep the same opening. Go to the other endpoint. And you're going to make another decent size arc. And how many times are those two arcs going to intersect? Should intersect twice. Yes, and that's what you want. So go over to the other endpoint, same opening, draw in a second arc, so both arcs intersect in two spots. A couple of you are figuring out what's the final step. I call this the fish construction. I don't know if anybody sees it or not, but I call it the fish construction, finding the midpoint. All right, how do I use those two arcs to find the midpoint of AB? I take my straight edge, line up both points of intersection from the arcs. I take my straight edge, line up both points of intersection on the arc. You can draw the line through. Okay, line up both points of intersection, draw your line through. And guess what? Where that line intersects AB is going to be my, there it is. So open up the compass more than halfway, swing an arc, go to the other endpoint, swing the same arc, make sure they intersect twice, and there's my midpoint. Questions? That's just scraping the surface of what we're going to be doing with that compass this year. Okay, we still got 5 minutes left. Homework tonight, out of the packet and out of the book. You got a couple constructions I want you to do. Okay, you can do those right in the packet below. So I don't know if you want to try those out right now. So the bell rings, and then the midpoint stuff is out of the packet. All right. Start with the line segment. I know it says array, but start with the line segment. So that first one, you are going to make XY congruent to AB. All right, so just like we did in class, make yourself a line segment right now that's longer than AB looks. And then use your compass to measure XY, AB, and make XY for me.